76 of Speak On It. I am your host, Danny Ocean, as always, joined by the smoothest man on the planet, Losty Mix. How you living, baby?
My brother. You already know when you hear this wonderful, illustrious voice that it could only be one brother, the good brother, Los D Mix. Hey man, another week, another opportunity to be here in your presence, my brother. It's always a blessing when I get to holler and hang at you. So you know I'm living blessed, man. I'm doing good. Um, man, been enjoying a lot of sports. There's been a lot of sports recently. A lot of
Yeah.
obviously I've been watching playoff. I mean, not playoff, preseason basketball. Obviously the NFL, college football. Been getting into what you see behind me. If you're watching the video, a little bit of playoff baseball. So the divisional series started. They started, I believe was today, yesterday or
Mhm.
today. So those have been kicked off, and been some really good games as we speak right now. The Astros just hit a walk-off home run to take Game One versus the Mariners, and then earlier today. Um, well, we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
How have you been, man? How have you been?
Man, I am really tired. You and I were talking off air before the show. I had a very, very, very busy weekend.
Nah,
Still
you was
recovering because
outside.
I'm a very old man, and my spirit and my body is letting me know that I'm not 25 anymore. So that's always, enjoy your youth while you have it, D, and to anyone else, because once it's gone, it does not come back. Like, it is gone.
You're not old.
I'm very old, dog. I've been yawning all day.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 33.
Okay, so you're not gonna sit here and tell me you old, yo. You're not gonna say you're not old. You tired.
At this point in my life, it's the same thing. But you're right. I need to stop talking like that. I still have a little juice left in this body. I just need to preserve it and use it accordingly.
All right, so
Um,
here's my thing. I also need to stop doing a little bit of the same because I often say that I'm old and whatnot. And then I've been thinking about it. I'm like, man, like similar to what you were saying. Let's stop saying that.
yeah,
Words have a little bit of power. And we don't need that type of talk. That's all I'm saying, my brother. That's all I'm saying.
yeah. We're gonna speak life. I am not tired. I mean, I am not old. I am just tired. I need to get some sleep.
You gonna be on your Kevin Gates
Um,
I don't get tired?
oh no, we do not quote Kevin Gates in this house. That man is saying some wow.
Nah, come on. Come on. You've been seeing that one clip of him performing.
I've seen a lot of. I think a couple weeks ago there was a tweet that went viral. It was like, what's Kevin Gates' best lie or what's Kevin Gates' best story?" And it was just a thread of Kevin Gates clips. Oh man,
Oh, you talking about how he told the story about how he could jumpstart a car with his bare
So,
hands?
I can't believe they let him slide. Like, I can't believe Charlamagne and them let that slide out of
Come
the.
on, man.
Wait
You
a
ain't never
minute.
come on, man. You ain't never jumpstarted a car with your bare hands?
Nope. I
Oh,
haven't reached that level yet. Maybe one day. Maybe one day I will. So tonight, let's talk about what we want to talk about tonight. It's a jam-packed show. We're going to recap NFL Week 5, which is in the books after last night. We're going to talk about Matt Rhule getting the can, Draymond's fisticuffs. We're going to talk about college football, what happened this past week, what we're looking forward to in this week. We're going to talk about Ron Rivera throwing Carson under the bus, which is just hilarious. Devontae throwing photographers to the ground after losing to the
nah, he
Chiefs on
didn't
Monday
throw that.
night. We're gonna talk about our fantasy leagues. You're gonna talk about your Packers. I'm gonna talk about the Eagles. It's going to be okay. I know you guys
Shit, dude.
lost. Listen, it's okay. A lot of football left. Well, let's get cracking in the with NFL Week 5 recap. What's up, everybody in the chat? Thank you for stopping by. Gator,
What's good,
Jamie,
folks in
Gator.
the chat?
I think Gator's already taken his lumps from this week, and he says, "I'm here for the shit talking. I'm here so I don't get fined. I am a loser this week." Because you and Gator faced off, right? For
We did. we did play this week, or this
Yeah,
past week, our first of two divisional matchups, and I did, in fact, remain undefeated
you
versus Gator
did.
J.
But we'll
Um,
we'll we'll get to that a little later.
we will,
We'll
we
get to it
will.
because we got a lot to talk about in fantasy this week. But week 5 is over. Didn't disappoint. We saw an absolute defensive clunker, a stinker, the worst nationally televised game on the ever. I'm glad I don't have Amazon Prime that I did not watch the Denver game with you guys. There was a giant collapse due to over in London between Green Bay and New York. Steelers and Pittsburgh winning the game. Pittsburgh was steamrolled. Eagles remained perfect. Talk to me. The Ravens finally held on to a double digit win. They did not lose. And now we have 0 winless teams. The Texans beat the Jags. And of course, what's the NFL if that's a little rule controversy? We had some roughing the passer calls that changed the outcomes of a few games. So, D, with all that being said, what are your top 3 biggest takeaways from NFL Week 5?
Whew, man, NFL Week 5, definitely a great one. I think uh, first takeaway, roughing the passer. Oh man, oh man, yo, they on the timeline saying our beautiful game is cooked. They're saying it is cooked. That this product out here is cooked. Listen, this is one of the ramifications and the specifications and whatever other specifications that you can throw out that are applicable here that comes as a result of the Tua Tagovailoa injury that we saw, what I believe was last Thursday, or the Thursday before
Two
last.
weeks.
Yeah, two
Yeah,
Thursdays
I think
ago.
it's been 2 weeks. Yeah.
And even now, the you can see the Dolphins are going to take a very, very, very precautious take. You saw how the Dolphins are handling Teddy Bridgewater and that injury. I mean, you can see it across, like you can see it literally since that Tua play. It was on Amazon's network, prime time, only football game on, coming off of a game we probably shouldn't have been playing in. I
Yeah.
mean, this is a result of what happens. And honestly, it's you guys got to expect more because Danny and I, me and you talked about it. The league, I think they are expecting a lawsuit at hand. I feel like
Oh
one of
yeah.
these days, especially if, because what I feel like might happen is, well, what the NFL is kind of weighing is, if Tua begins to play again, then I think they may be able to kind of, especially if the Dolphins, if he comes back and the Dolphins go back to winning, I think they find a way to, while they're updating these concussion protocols, to just use that stream to just wash this bad publicity away. But and what I feel like might happen is Tua might get enough medical opinions that tell him he should never play again, and he takes it and he uses that to start a lawsuit. And
Yep.
brother, I'm gonna tell you right now, the NFL would rather, like Jamie in the comments say, they'd rather play flag football before they deal with another one of a lawsuit, which they think they might be coming from Tua Tagovailoa. So that's takeaway number one. Takeaway number two, I'm with Tom Brady. There's a lot of bad football being played, and I think we are maybe like 2 or 3 weeks away from offense is really starting to click. We're going to get some bye weeks. Some teams are starting to figure it out. And I think once you see a few teams come back from bye and look like new teams, I think that's going to start inspiring some teams. So I definitely think there's a lot of bad football being played. Obviously, I think this is a result of a lot of good players not playing in the preseason and using this first couple weeks as preseason. Takeaway number three, my last takeaway. I think there needs to be an APB out in Denver, Colorado, because there is a
Uh-oh.
bank robber behind center, a straight bank robber behind center. Yo, this is what I'm saying. I've been watching the Seahawks games and I've been watching the Broncos games. Geno Smith out there putting up numbers. And this is the same offense that Russ told me was cooked. So is it let Russ cook or is Russ cooked?
That's a great question.
My brother goes first.
Uh I'll go to my 3 points, but back to your rough in the passer call. Let me tell you something. If I'm a defensive player and I know I'm gonna get a roughing the passer on Tom Brady. I'm gonna get my money's worth. I'm gonna get my lick in. Like if you gonna call it anyway, well, guess what, dog? If I'm 300 plus pounds, I'm driving that right through Tom Brady's chest, and he gonna pay for it. My 3 points. The first one, and I hate to say this because of what's about to happen on Sunday. Yo, the Cowboys have the best defense in the NFL.
It's
Like
tough.
they have, yo, that
We,
defense.
we we tried to tell them. We tried to tell the Cowboys fans that that defense was fraudulent last year, and Dan Quinn said, "No, sir, I don't need to be a head coach. My man up here might get canned soon. I'll stay."
I'll
Turn this joker
stay,
into defensive crazy.
dog.
This is
The
like,
like
would you agree that this may be like not the Legion of Boom, but the Legion of Doom in Dallas?
I don't know. They ain't won enough big games yet to go that far. I will say I thought
Says who?
Trayvon
They
Diggs.
took the Super Bowl champs out to the woodworks. Think about the teams that
Hey
they played. They
man,
played
but
really, really good teams, and they've been able to shut them down. And because their defense is so good, they've given the offense enough chances to go out there and put up points. That's the reason why Cooper Cup given enough opportunities. Hey man, I don't want to take your point. Go ahead.
I thought Trayvon Diggs was a fraud. I apologize. He is not a fraud until
He
Sunday night.
heard us. He heard us talking. He heard us talking, saying he
Don't
ain't
worry.
got no
AJ
take.
Brown got the remedy. AJ Brown got the remedy for that boy. But we're gonna talk
Nah,
about that
I
later.
feel like he'll be on Devontae Wake. Go ahead.
Yeah, he got something for him too. Point number two. I think the Bucks are in trouble, man. This is
I think
week
that'd be your
five,
point.
dog. Huh?
I think that'd be your point number three.
The
You said,
point one was the Cowboys. Point two is the
oh no,
Bucks.
no,
I just
you're
wanted
right.
to
You're right.
piggyback off the rough and the passer.
I can't count. No, you're right. Go ahead.
Bucks are in trouble. In my last and final point,
Wait. Why you said
Justin.
the Bucks are in trouble? Why you said the Bucks are in trouble?
I don't know, man. I just don't have a good feeling. Like they have struggled so much. It's not like we've had flashes of like offensive, like okay, this is what this offense could look like. It has been just a straight struggle. Like if the Broncos weren't as bad as they were offensively, like we'd be talking about the Bucks. Like that's how bad they've been offensively all year.
Well,
Like
okay. So, and I don't even really want to shoot him some bail, but I may try to. So at the same time, yes, but they haven't had all their horses in the game at the same time, and I think
that's
that's a
true.
lot. And I think when you think about some of the offensive line injuries and retirements, or retirements and whatnot, or moves, it's hard for them to gain consistency. Um, I don't know. I think with the Bucks, give them a little bit of time, let them continue to, you know, get Chris Godwin back. They still got Julio Jones. We know about Mike Evans. They got to get this run game going with Leonard Fournette and Rashad White. They got to get it going a little bit better because I think it helps because, you know, with Tom being able to release the ball very fast is good, but you need to play action to be able to really,
Yeah.
break some defenses open. Give the Bucks some time.
I mean, well, luckily they play in the NFC South, so who cares? They
For
have all
sure.
season. Point number three. Justin Tucker deserves quarterback money. Like he is the ultimate weapon in all of football. Like just knowing if I'm Lamar Jackson, I just got to get to my 40 and it's a guaranteed three. Like there's got to be a lot of comfort in knowing that if the game's on the line, I just got to get to the 40. Like most teams, you got to get to the 30, the 25. It's like, nah, Justin's like, you give me to the 40, I'll send you on home, which is amazing, especially if you kick off and you start at the 25. Like, that's not a lot.
What would you say to those who say that Justin Tucker is making QB money, but for kickers?
No. When I say QB money, I mean pay that man QB money. Like
No.
it would take
First off,
multiple.
we can't say that because this is a team that doesn't want to pay the quarterback. So we're not going to
That's
sit and
true.
pay QB. So what I'm saying is if you look at what the Ravens are paying Tucker now, they are paying him QB money for a kicker because he is easily the highest paid kicker. And it's
Absolutely.
I don't even know if it's that much close.
Let me
Most
ask you a
kickers are like,
question,
we're not getting his type of money, unless we go
and you never
crazy.
will, because you can't kick from the 40 consistently. Let me ask you a question. Someone calls the Ravens right now and says, "We'll give you a first round pick for Justin Tucker." Would you take that deal? Exactly. Like the fact that we have to think about it, I would not.
Well, first off, I wouldn't. I don't know if I would take it because What GM calls and offers a first round pick for a kicker?
The
You might
Saints.
first off, I don't want to talk to them, and I really want to go to Roger Goodell and ask him to be drug tested, to be honest.
I'm just saying,
And
like, if
thank you to
someone
Kyle, who kind
called,
of said Kyle kind of said the same thing I said, that they don't really want to pay their QB money to their actual QB. We can't expect it from the kicker, man.
I'm gonna take a moment, take a pause here. Gator DM'd us the Bears uniforms this week. Before we jump into Matt Rhule, yo, look at your DMs, D, and tell me what you think about these Bears uniforms that they playing on Thursday night against the Commanders. Yo, who's scheduled? Like, who's like, yo, the people want to see the Bears and the Commanders on. Yo, those are the ugliest shits ever. Like, it's the orange helmet. Like, if they had the blue helmet, like that would be fire. But that's too much orange, man.
Now you know what?
Nah,
Go ahead. I kind of like it. I kind
I
of
would.
like
I
it.
like the jersey. I like the
No, I
helmet and
kind
the
of like
jersey,
it.
but not
I
together.
kind of like it, Gator Jam. I kind of like it. I ain't
Not
gonna hold
together. We're just in the NFC South talking about the Bucks. I think they're in trouble. Let's go to their, I guess, their conference. I don't want to call them a rival because they've never been a rival to the Buccaneers. But uh, Monday, it was announced that after losing to the Niners, that Matt Rhule was fired. He's been in Carolina after 3 seasons in Carolina. Carolina has lost 11 of their past 12 games, and now Steve Wilkes. Yes, if that name sounds familiar, he was the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals before they gave that job to Cliff Kingsbury. He'll be serving as the interim head coach. Is that the fire alarm at your place? Is everything okay? Oh, it's gone
Yo,
now. Whew, I was about to say, I don't know if the
yo,
show's ever
is it
been
going
in.
now? How's it going
Yeah, I
now?
was about to say, is the good night, everyone. But we're
No.
good. So back to Matt Rule. Like, do you think the QB struggles that the Panthers had led to his downfall? And do you think his firing was justified?
Okay, I will start by saying this. Matt Rule was dealt an unfortunate hand with some of the QBs he had to play, but it's not like that was a favorable hand to begin with because I don't know if he I don't want to say can't coach in the NFL, but maybe his style is more suited for college,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's you know what I'm trying to say. His
Yeah, I
style of
got you. I
coaching
got you.
for football, maybe more suited for college football. So yes, I think the QB struggles definitely led to my man getting fired. Yo, did you even hear any players come out and say anything about you? Never mind.
I haven't heard anything.
Do I think it's justifiable on the Panthers organization? Sure, Panthers, go ahead and use another head coach as a scapegoat. But when are we going to look in the mirror and really talk about the ownership? When are we going to
Yep.
look in the mirror and talk about the number of talented players that has come to this franchise and this organization and really seeing the prime of their careers wasted? Most notably, Cam Newton. You guys didn't really want to surround him with the weapons that he needed, and then you kind of ran him into the ground. And then when he
And he
was too
still
hungry,
took you to a Super Bowl.
still took it to the Super Bowl, and y'all still gave him hell because he didn't want to dive on a ball
Oh yeah,
for
he
what?
shouldn't go for that.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. But we really got to start talking about these Carolina Panthers and start really wondering, yeah, what is going on, and how can we get this franchise and organization and in a direction where they're contending for championships again, man. You guys got Christian McCaffrey, you got DJ Moore. Why don't you have a quarterback that can deliver them the football accurately, yo? You see how the Browns went out and got a backup QB and a starting QB, albeit, that can deliver the ball accurately after they saw what Baker Mayfield does? And I'm confused on what the hell the damn Panthers saw in Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold to think they could change how they QB in this league.
Spooky.
Enjoy the basement, Carolina Panthers, except for you, Christian McCaffrey, and except for you, DJ Moore, and a few other fine good players in the Carolina Panthers. You guys are going to continue to do well, but front office, y'all got to do better, yo.
So for me, I feel like Rule was fired. Like you said, he couldn't get the quarterback position right, and he has terrible draft luck. So I went past the past three drafts that he participated in. 2020, Burrow goes one, and then Tua and Herbert go two pick. Like it's uh, Tua, Herbert, and then the Panthers pick. So they miss out on those two by a pick. 2021, they pass on Justin Fields and they pass on Mac Jones. They probably should have taken one of the two. Matt Rhule would still have a job because it'd be year two of a rookie quarterback. Usually, if you draft a quarterback, you get 3 to 4 years automatic if you're a coach, unless you're just terrible. And then last year, the quarterback class was terrible. So they went offensive tackle at 6 overall. The first quarterback taken was Kenny Pickett at 20. So his draft luck has been absolutely putrid the past 3 years. 2020 was the year, right? If Herbert had fallen to Carolina instead of the Chargers, like that could be the difference between, Staley
Do
being
we know
fired
that
right
though?
now. We
People
don't.
say that
That's a what if.
Justin Herbert got put in a situation, where they were like, "Yo, this kid can play. Let's utilize his talents the best of our abilities." But this guy, I think the Chargers knew when they brought in, was it Brandon Staley?
Yeah.
What type of team they have? They're another story. But go ahead.
I think Cal makes some good points in the chat. Cal says, I think players saw the massive contract the Panthers gave Rhule, but also saw how they treated Cam Newton by cutting him late in the free agency season. That is correct. And then he also says, it's tough to have a winning culture when players feel like they aren't being treated properly. I'm curious to see what Steve Wilkes is able to do as an interim head coach. That is a great point. And to Gator J's point, Gator J said, can we give the players the guaranteed money the owners give coaches? Carolina is paying Matt Rhule $40 million to not coach. No, Gator J. They're paying him $42 million to not coach. That is the ultimate finesse. That is what I aspire for. I aspire to get something off potential, be terrible at that job, and get paid to go away. That is the American dream.
So can't wait to see Matt Rhule in an Alabama or Ole Miss or University of
Oh
Georgia.
no, he's going to Arizona State.
How you think he's going to be a head coach?
Yeah, I mean, college coaches don't care if you can't coach in the NFL. The last time we saw Matt Rhule in college, he made Baylor relevant after all that stuff Baylor had went through. He's going to get a head coaching job. Like he's going to be in the Big Ten. He's going to be in the Pac-12. Like Arizona State is like perfect. There are no expectations, just like there were at Baylor when he started. He can come in, get him to a bowl game, get him to the Duke's Mayo Bowl. He'll get a statue out front.
It's nasty business. It was you who called this maybe like a week or two ago, right? You were kind of saying, "Yo, Matt Rhule, his time may be up. He might be on his way to the Pac-12."
Dog, you can't lose 11 out of 12 games or 12 out of whatever that number. You can't lose that.
NFL,
you can't lose a season's worth of games almost over the course of a year, a calendar year, dog. Like you got to go.
Especially when you see a team like the Texans with Davis Mills come out here and win some games. It's like, yo, you can't win more games than them recently.
Exactly. Like Baker can't win me more games than Davis Mill. Who made that decision?
And I believe Matt Rhule had a very heavy hand in handpicking some of the talent they were bringing in and out the doors, whereas
hell yeah, he did,
or head coaching. So somewhere along the line, that owner was like, "Yo, you really thought this Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold QB competition was the way to go." Now, I will say, when you look at the other free agent quarterbacks, there probably wasn't a lot of better options. But still,
like
got to go because of that.
Yep, and it's not going to be the owner. Like shout out to again, like the owner. You signed Matt Rhule's contract for 7 years, and you still owe him $42 million. $42 million.
Speaking of the Panthers, Jamie asks, "What do we think about PJ Walker?" PJ, throw the ball to DJ Moore.
Very easy. PJ Walker is the backup in Baltimore, correct?
No, he's the backup in Carolina. He's expected to start this week.
Oh, okay. My bad. I don't know what I mean. Yeah, I got you. Yep. Yeah.
Question for you and for the folks out here who are listening with any interest. If PJ Walker starts, do you consider starting DJ Moore at flex or wide receiver?
Hell yeah. It can't get any worse for DJ Moore. Like he's already at his floor. Like what do you got to
DJ
lose?
Moore or Jerry Jeudy?
Oh, so who do the Broncos play this week?
Broncos play the Chargers
Okay.
on Monday night. Panthers play the
Let's see.
I do not I forgot who the Panthers play.
Let it be the Saints. Oh, they play the Charger. I mean, they play the Rams. Oof.
Yeah, that's what they play. They play the Rams.
Oof. Oof. That's tough. I mean, who the
He was off of a big beatdown loss too.
yeah. Yeah. I'd probably start Judy. I'd probably start Judy. Like
So
Russ can't be this bad forever, can he?
Gator J says 100% start DJ Moore with Walker. Kyle says Panthers passing game has the lowest goal line grade of any team in the Week 6 matchups. Um, Kyle said he's trying to sit DJ Moore anywhere he can. Jamie says this is not the first game. He'd want to see it first. He'd rather have him score points on his bench than put up 0 in his lineup. Yo, I know we're going to talk about fantasy later, but want to go, Jamie, that is an excellent point. And Danny, that is a point that I kind of learned in our redraft league this week with Gabe Davis. I sat there and was like, yo, this guy does not get a lot of volume, but when he goes off, he goes off. Do I want him or Chris Godwin, someone I know is going to get a lot of volume just regardless? So I started Chris Godwin. I'm not upset. Because like Justin Jefferson, obviously he has to be started. You just don't even take him out. And then
never.
Chris Olave,
Don't even take him out on the bye week.
I might not. Chris Olave, he's close to being a must start too. And so like I'm looking at my flex, and I'm like, all right, it's weekly. It's either going to be Keenan Allen, Gabe Davis, or Chris Godwin. Obviously, Keenan Allen's injured, so I went with. It came down to Godwin or Gabe Davis, and I went with Godwin. But Gabe Davis goes off my bench, and I'm sitting here basically with Jamie saying, yo, I'd rather him score points on my bench than put up 0 in my lineup, which I think he may have did a week prior before. All right, man. What's next? Holla at me. Let's speak on it.
Let's shift gears to basketball. Last week it was announced that the Golden State Warriors were going to internally punish Draymond for an incident involving Jordan Poole. It was later revealed that there was a physical altercation between the two. And Draymond's issued his apology. For those who don't know, we didn't know what had happened, and then someone leaked the video to TMZ, and we saw Draymond
internally had to be internally.
Yeah, and the video was pretty. I don't want to say it's graphic, but Draymond rolled up on Jordan and punched him in the face and knocked him out. I'm glad Draymond caught him.
Okay. So let me paint a different picture.
Okay.
From what I've seen, because we saw the same video. So let me paint my picture of it. I saw two teammates arguing in practice. Yep. And I saw somebody must have said something, and Draymond approached Jordan Poole, and you see everyone in the gym just kind of watching, observing, not really saying anything, not trying to stop anybody, none of that. Then you see Draymond and Jordan Poole kind of, the man size up to, it's that moment of, what's good with you, yo? Like, what's up? And Draymond got a little too close. Jordan Poole pushed him. And on Draymond's inertia being pushed back, he came back with a hook, connected. But as he connected, he recognized that this man is on his way to an extension or about to get a contract extension. A contract extension, by the way, that could be playing a part into this beef. Draymond later came out and denied it, but who knows? So as he sees his teammate falling, you can also see that he also catches him too. Like,
Oh,
yo,
how
I didn't want to
kind.
do this, but I had to do this. You punk MFer. I don't know what
How
you
kind.
said. I'm talking right here for me. I don't know what was said. Like you said what you said, but I don't like that shit you said. But you my dog, so I'm gonna gracefully knock you the hell down.
Listen, I am not an
So
advocate. I am not an advocate for violence at all. But if that man cheap shot at me like that, he gonna see me after practice, and I'm gonna beat his ass with a bat. I'm gonna break that man's knees.
okay, we're not going to do that. Let me paint a different scenario for you. What if you're practicing and you're in a teammate? Maybe y'all just it's an intense day of practice,
Mm-hmm.
and he calls you a B, a N, a B, a and an N. Do that acronym out.
For those who
Then
don't know, keep
now,
going. I'm
yeah,
not gonna
if you
say it,
don't
but
know, you don't know. So then, after calling you a BAN, he then invites you to the area of a man that you just should not invite a man to. Y'all just hyped up. So then you're like, hey yo, what's up with you? Like, what's up with you, yo? Like, cause now you taking it past this game. Now you come from the manhood. Then he approaches you, he all up in your face. So you try to get him off, like, yo, what's up? And then on the push off, he kind of rocks you a little bit.
here's my thing on that. The fact that no one else around them like intervene lets me know that this seems appears to happen all the time between those two, that there's some sort of John, one may walk the other, the one someone might push someone off, and then that's it, right? Like everyone was acting as like, okay, this is just Jordan and Draymond being Jordan and Draymond. At that, like, you don't expect, especially at that level, you don't expect your teammate to just cold clock you like that. Like there was something behind that punch more than just him being called a BAN, if that's what we think. Like there was some real ill intent behind that punch. Like you don't like it's one thing if I'm at a LA Fitness with a bunch of dudes I
Okay,
don't know
so
or kinda know. It's one thing to be on a team with someone for 3 or 4 years and then punch me. Like if that was at an LA Fitness or an outdoor, yeah, I'd get it. Like, yep, that makes sense. But someone that I know and I've built that relationship with, like I would never do that to you.
what if it was? So I read somewhere that it might have been because Jordan Poole called Draymond Triple S, the triple singles.
That, as someone see that, so here's the thing about that. Draymond has built his brand off of his ability to talk shit into getting in people's heads. Like you can't be walking around telling Paul Pierce that they don't love you like Kobe and go around cold clocking someone because they call you triple single. Like that math don't math.
You taking the mature route, and I want to sit here and be immature. Yeah, what if you just got to knock the hell out of somebody to teach them a lesson?
Hey, listen, man. In today's world, here's what I'll say about
And I
that.
do not condone violence, people. It's simply jokes.
Yeah, we just here for jokes. I will say this in all seriousness though. In the world we live in, if you punch somebody like that, like you better be prepared to get shot
Or sued.
or shot. Like, can you imagine you at the playground and do get cold clock
We
like that?
we
Yo,
here
he
at the
going to
Speak
the
on the
trunk.
Podcast do not promote
He going
violence.
to the trunk.
We here at the Speak on the Podcast do not promote violence.
He
We
going to the
we
bag. Like, oh, word?
we we here at the Speak on the Podcast, sponsored by the Go On for Two Network, would definitely not encourage violence,
Like,
and instead would encourage you to contact your lawyer to handle this, but all legal matters included.
well, for real, like, okay, I'm eating a knuckle sandwich, bro. You
We
about to eat
do,
some lead.
we do not promote violence.
No, you know I'm right. Like, if that happened outside of the walls, like, you better be
Oh,
prepared to get
we
shot.
no. Oh man. Oh my goodness.
Am I lying? Am I lying?
Ooh. Yo, I don't know what you're talking about. We here at the Speak
All
On,
right, all
we
right.
we are
Keep your
sponsored
hands to
by
yourself.
Underdog. Going for two. We did not promote violence.
If it's not worth getting shot over, keep your hands to yourself.
Woo, man,
Assume
my
you will be
head
shot.
hurts. Yo, that is funny. Where's my water?
Yo,
Woo.
let's jump and hit the and do these quick hitters real quick.
Oh
Last
man,
night, Monday night, Chiefs Raiders. What were your thoughts?
Raiders. You gotta finish them off, dog. I'm so confused. Okay, I get it. There's like a team, one team has to make adjustments too. Both teams
Yep.
should be making adjustments. Raiders, I'm so confused how you guys were causing consistent pressure the first quarter and a half of that game, and then all of a sudden, when the Kansas City Chiefs made some adjustments, you didn't make adjustments to their adjustments. Like you only, it was like it almost just seemed like when the Chiefs offense figured out a way to kind of neutralize that pass for us a
Mm.
little bit in the second half and the back half of that second quarter, the Raiders didn't make a check to then adjust to their adjustments and then maybe even out. Now, I would also say I think there were a lot of no calls in that game because the refs missed such an egregious
Yes,
call,
they did.
and I think they kind of got played into the crowd and started picking up a lot of calls on both teams and started letting some guys play. NFL, we really have to look. We really have to look at this roughing the passer penalty. I mean, that was points you took away from the Kansas City Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
Because they would have
Yeah.
got that ball back and they were deep in Raiders territory, so you could have at least said they were going to get at least three. So now you're talking about if it's not 13-7, let's assume that they don't also get that extra three. Well, that extra 3 points later in the game, I guess. Then you could be talking about 17-20 going into half. You see what I'm saying? Or 14 to
Yeah.
20.
It changes the whole dynamic of the game.
Changes the whole dynamic of the game. So
For me, no
we've been
need
getting
to
some
say.
actually decent Monday night football games. The Thursday night football
Yeah.
games haven't been so
But
good.
Thursday night football has always been garbage, except Thanksgiving. Like Thursday night to me, like I've started to check out unless it's the Eagles game because all of them suck.
So I do. I wonder now if it's too late now because Amazon has its money.
Yeah.
If that deal is not yearly, if it's multi-year, I mean, yo, I wonder if the Players Association tries to figure out a way to adjust. Yo,
Yeah,
you can't
like
keep these
Thursday.
Thursday night football games.
No, if you play Sunday, you should not play 4 days later. Like Thursday night football should be for two teams coming off of a bye week. So you have a week and some change off, and then after Thursday, you have a mini bye, right? So you have a mini bye after your Thursday night game. Like I think that'll create a better product than what we're getting. We're getting two teams playing on Sunday, and then they turn around and play on Thursday. Like that's a terrible product. Have both teams play after their bye weeks, so they have time to prepare and rest from a Sunday game, and then they get a mini bye after that Thursday night game. So everyone's getting enough rest, so you have a quality product on the field. Except what we're getting now, because what we get now is terrible.
But that would, yeah, I guess that would mean that Thursday night football games don't really start until bye week start, which I believe
Which
was
is this
once a
week.
day.
Which is this
Which I
week. This is week
yeah
6.
which so they would really start next week then.
Yeah. No, this
But I
is
believe which,
Thursday is the start of week 6. So week 6 would be the start of Thursday night football.
oh okay. Oh, I see what you're saying now. Yeah, you're right. But I
Yeah,
think that
like
used to be a format before, but I just think they they weren't getting enough money because they needed somebody to buy the games.
yeah.
And so that's when I think they started doing it weekly, and they had to infuse like some fun into it. So they were trying to do like the color rush and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And they couldn't figure it out. And I think now that Amazon's bought it, they now they're facing the harsh reality that the product they get is not good.
It's terrible. Like you got to find a way to get these players more than 4 days, 3 days rest before they turn around and play another game. Cuz that's why it's terrible. They're exhausted.
Exactly. I would offer the NFL the option of giving another 24 hours to consider Friday night football games, but then you're
Right.
competing with high school football, which
Yeah.
I don't think a
I don't
lot
think
of
people will.
players want to
Yeah. I don't think.
do. Um,
Yeah.
can't do Saturday because it's essentially kind of the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, you can, like I said, you can pull off Thursday night football. You just need to make sure that players are getting enough rest and preparation time before and after. So if they do it
You know,
coming off of their
that would take Jeff Bezos being like, "Yo, we shouldn't like." How do I say this? Like, if Jeff Bezos would probably have to be like, "Yo, I would much rather have better product later in the season and figure out a way to schedule it around bye weeks
Mhm.
than doing these things every week of the season because this is not healthy." And that's going to take work from the medical community within
Yeah,
football, the Players Association, owners, Amazon, Roger Goodell. It's a lot.
because
So many stakeholders that.
Jeff doesn't care. Jeff is like, they're gonna watch this game. They're gonna complain about it on Twitter. See you next Thursday. Yeah,
Uh,
thank you, Brian. Don't count on Bezos to do anything that's helpful to humans. Yeah, he's just like, hey, you gonna complain, but you gonna come back. What Stringer Bell say? It don't matter what kind of dope I sell them. If it's terrible dope, they buy twice as much. Same thing. Your
yeah,
boy Devontae. Say what?
you need that Prime membership.
I don't have it and I won't get it. Your boy Devontae last night leaving the field. He pushed a man after the game, a photographer, and now the guy has filed a police report with the Kansas City Police Department, and they say they will investigate. I believe the reporter said he had to go to the hospital as well. D, is this a grab? What are your thoughts?
What do you say you got to go to the hospital for? Because I had a
He didn't
thought until you
say. He didn't say. I remember reading today. It was like he went to the hospital to get checked out.
okay. First off,
Let me confirm that though.
I saw that push. I want to know, what do you think a doctor is about to tell you? He pushed you down hard.
Listen,
He pushed you down hard. Okay. Anyway, Devontae. With that being said, I know you've already said this. We can't do that, big dog. I know you frustrated. That was a frustrating game. Y'all were up 13. Really, no reason y'all should have lost that game. I get it. You just you gotta keep your head on the swivel, Devontae. NFL probably gonna take a bit of chunk change. I don't think they're gonna suspend you.
yeah.
I think they're gonna require you to reach out to the reporter and really make amends, which you definitely should do. And if you're, I don't know, in my opinion, if you're a reporter, yeah, you could sue, but hey, dog, you run a better. I think you'll be better off letting Devontae come to you as a man, and y'all work out something from there.
This is a grab. I appreciate it. Let me tell you something. Devontae pushed me, dog. I'm rolling up that joint in a full body cast. Like, oh,
I told one of my homies it reminds me of that episode of SpongeBob where the dude said he broke all his arms and all his legs, so he was
yep,
like hooked up with the face mask. Like, oh, yo, that's what this
yep.
is. You know, ain't nothing wrong with him, man. Get like another
He
part of me
got
really wants to get your punk ass up, man. You got pushed down.
yeah.
And
This
why
is
the
a
hell
grab.
are you walking in front of a professional football player trying to mic him up after a loss? Dodo Bird, you kind of deserved it too. But I'm trying to cut you some grace because you should have been pushed down. But you know what?
You know what? You know what's wild? 7 minutes ago, you made an announcement that we don't condone violence, and then right
We
now,
we do
you
not
just
condone.
condoned violence.
No, because what happened with to Devontae, a dude walked in front of him and he tried to protect his personal space. That's not violence. He just saw him and pushed him down. You want to get into the latest AP Top 25?
Yeah,
So
let's talk about it.
Georgia's back to number one. Bama is down to number three. Get
Yeah,
this. Tennessee is at 6. UCLA is at 11. Texas is back in here. and JMU
Shout out
is at
JMU.
25.
A
What are
dog.
your thoughts, yo?
I'm looking forward to Tennessee Bama. Like it's Tennessee Bama. Is that the CBS afternoon game or is that
I believe so.
the
Yeah, CBS has exclusive rights to the best SEC games of the week, so
so
that's
like
definitely something.
like Saturday? I'm supposed to be at my parents' house to help celebrate the anniversary. But dog, turn this Alabama Tennessee game on and leave me the hell alone. Y'all been married for a long time, but this happens once a year. I
This
need to see this.
Do you think Bama plays Bryce Young this week? You see, obviously, to anyone who watched, if you watched the Bama
Hmm.
A&M game, you saw Alabama struggled because they didn't have Bryce Young in the game, and even
Yeah.
with that, they essentially kind of out athleted, out schemed, and out executed A&M. I will say the quarterback that they have is not bad. He just needs to learn the passing game a little bit more, I would say.
So it
But
looks like
go ahead.
no, I was saying it looks like Bryce Young, Nick Saban is hopeful that he will play.
What do you think? He hurt his shoulder. I wonder what type of injury he has.
Yeah, didn't he like dislocate it?
He dislocated it.
Kyle, can you let us know the injury Bryce Young sustained 2 weeks ago, if you don't
Research.
mind?
Research. How do you feel
Yeah, I
about
got you.
UCLA at 11? I believe Oregon is right around there in like 12, 13. We all know Southern Cal's in there. What's up?
I really hope we get a scenario where UCLA and Oregon play against each other in a bowl game. No, they play. When do they play each other? Hold on.
UCLA, yeah, they're in the Pac-12. They're going to play each other.
Yeah,
I hope we get in a situation where both UCLA and USC are undefeated, maybe when they play each other. That would be
that could.
funny.
Yeah, I think USC is on another level. Like, I really wish. Like, I know America got to see USC Stanford like week 2. Like, I want to see more USC on like our time. Like, give them a 5 o'clock LA game, so it's 8 o'clock on the East Coast. Because we don't get to like over here, we don't get to see a lot of USC. So I don't think people understand how good and how high powered USC's offense is.
So you're a believer in this Lincoln Riley?
No, I'm not a believer. I just know they're very entertaining. I know what Lincoln Riley does when the lights get bright. He tells them to turn them off. But until we get there, it would be
Oh,
nice
until
to
we get there,
see.
we gotta ride it. All right. Well, okay. Speaking of which, let's look ahead at some of the matchups that's coming up. Right. So speaking
Yep,
of Southern Cal, they play Utah this week in a top 20 showdown. Who do you like in that one?
SC.
You think so?
Yeah. Oh, what is it in Utah? Or is there? Oh, before. So Bryce Young has a strain to his AC joint.
Oh man.
Hey, shoot that boy up with some cortisone. This Tennessee. This is a top 10 matchup. Get out.
Look
Shoot
at
that boy.
look at Drew Brees entered the building. Look at
Yeah.
Drew Brees has entered the building. Has entered the chat. Hey yo, by the way, Quinn Ewers just came back. Just came back last week, Drew Brees. I just want you to know that. Like Quinn Ewers just this past weekend played his first game. So
Oh,
I
Drew.
don't know. I don't know how long ago that Texas Bama game was, but I just want Drew Brees. If you're hearing this, I want you to know Quinn Ewers for his first game.
Yo, Drew
This
said,
past
shoot that boy.
He said, Drew Brees, shoot him up with some of them drugs and send him back out there. He'll be all right. I was like, hey, yo, like you're a Hall of Fame quarterback saying this.
Oh,
Um,
man.
and Gator J, he did look like a beast. Okay, some
Oh,
other matchups for week 7 in the college football season this upcoming Saturday. So we talked about Bama, Tennessee. We talked about USC, Utah. We got Michigan and Penn State in a top 10 showdown. I'm gonna
looking
be
forward
honest with
to
you.
it.
I like Penn State.
Yeah, me too. Like,
I
Michigan has
like
been
Penn
looking
State.
kind of,
Well, it's just not that I think Penn State's at home. I believe, and I think I think they're a little bit of the hungrier team. I think Michigan's going to really lean on try to running the football first. So I think if Penn State really focuses in on,
yo,
I
what's the
think
game this week? There's so many good games. What's the ABC game of the week?
I don't know, actually. I think if Penn State focuses on shutting down the run, they have a good chance of beating Michigan, make them one-dimensional. Another one. Here's another one. Staying in the Big 12, Oklahoma State TCU in a top 13 showdown. Um, I actually like Oklahoma State in this one if I was a betting man.
Yeah, I like Oklahoma State.
Here's another one for us. NC State and Syracuse. Look at the ACC putting together a
Who
top
would have
18
thought?
showdown.
Who would have thought?
LSU in Florida, like Gator J says, at 7 p.m. this weekend, 7 p.m. Eastern time. All these times are Eastern time. Shout out to LSU. Shout out to Florida. Gator J. I guess you'll be rooting for the Gators. I don't know. That was a tough loss this past weekend, so I don't even know what to say about LSU anymore. So Gator J, hope you guys can pull that one off. Staying in the SEC, Mississippi State and Kentucky in a top 25 showdown. Quarterback from Mississippi State, he's impressive. And the quarterback from Kentucky is impressive. So these are two, like, if you're looking for two potential top 3 quarterbacks taken or top 4 quarterbacks taken in this upcoming draft, Mississippi State and Kentucky is the game for you, by the way.
And before Clemson at Florida State is the ABC night game.
That was the next game I was going to mention. So that'll probably be the game that Kirk and Chris Fowler are calling, because Fox has Michigan Penn State as their Big Ten Big Ten game, because they have the exclusive rights to the best Big Ten game. That's why we always get the noon Michigan Ohio State game. Like, get that out of here. All right. So I know you mentioned this earlier. Ron Rivera, go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, so the question was, a reporter asked the question, I'm paraphrasing, like, why are the other NFC East teams so far ahead compared to the Commanders? And Ron Rivera's answer was essentially, well, it's quarterback. And
he said it's quarterback play?
Yes, he was like, he struggled a little bit.
That's dirty, Ron. Because Cooper Rush is in your division right now playing quarterback.
Yes, he is saying that Cooper Rush and Daniel Jones are playing better than Carson right now, which there's some truth to that. So, D, like, can they come back from this?
Nah, yo. First off, Carson wins. 10-11-22 is the date. By 10-11-23, Carson wins. We might be inviting you as a full-time member of this podcast, because you, sir, might have some free time on your hands. Because I mean, this is 3 teams now in a span of 5 years.
3 years. This will be 3 teams in 3 years.
3 teams in 3 years, Carson wins. We can't keep doing this, dog. At some point, we have to look in the mirror and say, sir, you are not meant to be an NFL starting quarterback, and that's okay.
Here's my question to Ron.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Ron has access to HBO like the rest of us. You saw the Hard Knocks episode where they played the Jags and missed the post. You heard Jim Irsay throw Carson under the bus, question his leadership, and you heard what happened in Philadelphia, and you still gave up draft capital to bring him to DC. My brother in Christ, it is your fault.
Yeah.
This is on you.
He gave up real draft capital too. He was like, he gave up real draft capital. He was like, yo, like, we really want this guy. And
this is on you.
Maybe, like Gator J says, Ron Rivera has Carson Wentz on his fantasy team because he is a top 10 quarterback player right now.
That's all he got going for him. Like,
that's all he got going.
Ron, this is on you, pimp. Like, you talking about your quarterback play. Let's talk about your coaching, my friend. It's trash.
Bar him up.
You know what? Ron cannot get fired, right? Like, Ron can do whatever he wants because he cannot get fired right now because the Washington Commanders have so much foolishness going on around them. Can you imagine if they fired one of the only minority coaches in the NFL? Like
No.
you got the sexual assault case, not the sexual, you got the like the cheerleading stuff going on, the sexual harassment case going on. Your stadium is a dump. Your team name is terrible. You wore the racial slurs for years. There's so much. Like Ron Rivera is the only good thing going for that team, and he is terrible at his job, and he can't get fired.
Yo, on a semi-related note, I was watching the game, and one of the announcers like called them by their old name,
Oh
and
no,
the other announcer to be like the Commanders.
the Commanders, friend.
But the thing is, yo, those be some fire uniforms y'all be wearing though. I'll give y'all that. Y'all got
Dog.
some good
The
uniforms.
shout out to
I
the
miss
uniform team.
the numbers on the side of the helmet like I used to have when you're on the football team though.
Yeah.
I thought that was
I kind of wish they would have stayed with Washington football team. Like it was so funny that it worked. Like it was so comical that it ended up working.
nah, we can't do that.
You can't do that.
Nah, we
All right, let's talk about
Let's get it.
let's talk about
Talk about your boy Brett Favre.
Brett Favre in Mississippi. Brett said he's being smeared by the media. Dog, it took you 4 weeks to come up with that. Like this story been hot for like 5-6 weeks. And now he just coming out like, oh no, this is a smear campaign, dog. We saw the messages, like we read everything.
So Brett, what you're trying to tell me is that these text messages are fake and that you are being set up. Okay, well, Brett,
That's what
I
it
want
sound
you
like.
to know, Brett Favre, that I own a beachfront property in the state of Kansas, and I've been interested in selling it for a while. All I would need is a $400,000 advance up front to be able to show it to you so that you could buy it.
Listen,
Clearly, Brett Favre, that's what you're telling me. Oh man.
man. Brett, all Brett will have to do is call up his homies at the welfare office and say, hey, yo, float me $400K. That man, like we read the text, Brett.
Yeah,
From the same phone you probably sent them dick pics to that cheerleader at the Jets. Like, we know who you are, Brett. You commit crimes over the phone. You commit crimes with text. We know who you are.
Oh man, here we go. Go ahead, give him the reminder, Daddy.
Don't commit crimes with checks or text. Face to face. Do not take notes on criminal conspiracies.
Jesse. Okay, no one's talking to you, Hendrix. No one's talking to you. Thank you. Oh man. Don't commit crimes via checks or text. That should be written on a shirt. Yo, have you been catching any of these playoff baseball games?
I'm gonna start tonight. Like I hate regular season baseball, but playoff baseball is one of the best things in sports. You can just feel the energy.
After you finish recording, you should take a look at this game that's been playing over my shoulder over here, because this is actually the Cleveland Guardians versus the New York Yankees. So if you're interested in seeing a big time hitter, Aaron Judge should be playing. Gator J said in relation to my beachfront property in Kansas, he said if I would have said Arizona instead of Kansas, he would have thought I was listening to country music on the way home. No, Gator J, I think I'll be bumping this new Quavo and Takeoff album actually, which might be a link into my outro song.
It's been on my list to listen to. Like I've heard a few bars. Like Takeoff is not as bad as I thought he was.
Oh my brother, you should have heard his solo project back in 2018. That's when I knew. I've been listening to Migos since like 2012, 2013. I was like,
I haven't.
Takeoff's been nice though. He's been the best rapper of the three.
So
he always been the best rapper of the three.
What's the bar in the first single? It's like, this is a 16 passenger. This is not a Challenger. Like, what is that bar?
I don't know, but I'm familiar with it.
I gotta find it. Let me see.
All right, while you pull that up, let me give a brief state on the Packers after Week 5. Kyle, who I believe may have left a little bit earlier, probably did an even better job on his podcast. Green Bay Packers fans, we have a couple issues, and surprisingly, I do not think they're special teams. We have to find an offensive identity, and we need to find an offensive identity fast. What are we? Are we a running team? If we are, we should hand the ball off to Aaron Jones more and use that to filter in not only the play action, but A.J. Dillon. Are we a play action team that really feeds off the run? So we run it 2 out of 3 times, and that third time we really try to sell the play action to push the ball down the field. Okay, well we really need to get in a better cadence of getting the ball in the hands of our playmakers. Alan Lazard, Romeo Dobbs. We need Christian Watson to get healthy, man. I see Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb must be 23, 24 years old again the way he's playing. Defensively, what are we doing? You guys are supposed to be the anchor of this team. What are we doing out here? Daniel Jones carving us up like butter? Like a hot knife and butter? Daniel Jones? Come on, big dogs. We better than that. If you would have told me after the last NFC Championship game that the special teams would probably be the best part of our team right now, I might have fought you, or I might have asked you to meet me outside so we can just box for a couple minutes because you clearly are trying to insult me. Packers, let's get it together. Go
ahead. Go back to that takeoff bar really quickly. Hop off a 16 passenger. This is a G5. No, this is not a Challenger. I don't know why that's fire. It just is. Let's talk about the last undefeated team in the NFL. The Philadelphia Eagles squeaked out a win in Arizona on Sunday due to clock mismanagement by Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury, but that's their problem, not mine. They decided to have a backup kicker kick a 40-plus yard field goal. That's not my fault. A win is a win. I've been very reserved about talking about the Eagles, like in regards to like being boastful and running my mouth and talking shit. But let me tell you this. If we beat Dallas on Sunday night, and I'm not talking about by 3, like if we rip that defense to shreds and Trayvon is the man that I think he is or thought he was, I want to come on this show next week, and the first block is going to be me talking shit for a solid 15 minutes. Like, do not.
You do it in an Eagles jersey at least?
I don't have an Eagles jersey. I have an Eagles shirt. But you know what?
I just want everyone to look at this man's fandom. He don't own an Eagles jersey.
I don't own any jerseys.
If you win any fantasy football league, you at least got to get one Eagles jersey.
See, here's the thing, though. I don't know which jersey to buy because there's not like I can get a Lane Johnson jersey, I can get a Kelsey jersey, I can get a Fletcher Cox jersey, but that's it. Because I don't know. Like, we don't have that person who's like, yep, they're going to be there forever. Because I don't want to buy a jersey and then that person leaves, right? You have an Aaron Rodgers jersey. Huh?
It doesn't matter if they leave. It's the jersey.
Nah, to me, that's a waste of money. I do have a Donovan McNabb jersey.
Like get like a Warren. Is it Warren Moon or Randall Cunningham?
Randall Cunningham.
Get a Randall Cunningham jersey.
I could do that. I could get a Kelly Green jersey.
Show your loyalty to the OG quarterbacks. I think you guys are really good. I don't know if you guys are going to beat the Cowboys. I don't know if you guys are playing on the road or if it's in Dallas.
It's in Philly. It doesn't a win would be great, but it has to be I want to dominate. I want 28-3. I don't want any questions.
We'll see.
0. Make Cooper Rush score 21.
It's hard to win in this league, so we'll see. All right.
Want to talk about fantasy?
Is it time to get into our fantasy chat, my brother?
Let's talk about fantasy.
All right.
And for the record, I do.
Go ahead.
I said I do have a Donovan McNabb jersey, but it was when I was. You didn't know me when I was the size of Sherman Klump, but I used to be a very, very, very big man. Damn, Hendricks go ham on the toy.
I know. Yo, can you relax?
He is relaxing.
He's staring at me now. I may have offended him. You want to start with Hendricks? All right. Nah. Chill. You gotta chill. You gotta chill.
Yo, Hendricks.
You gotta chill. Nah, relax, yo.
Oh, relax. Man.
You want to start with Dynasty or our redraft league?
Let's do dynasty because I took a L in redraft and in dynasty this week. Like Josh Allen was the only person who did anything worth talking about for me.
No, I saw that. So we'll start with our. I know Gator said Hendrick said shut up D. That's exactly what he said. We'll start in our redraft. I mean our dynasty league. So again this week, let me give my weekly recap. So best team, Bend It Like Beckham. He scored 184.4 points. Worst team was Bam, who coincidentally is not here. So Bam, when you're hearing this, you only scored 119.7 points. Don't worry, I'm going to make sure your stats are shown. Shout out some of our players of the week. We had Josh Allen. We had Lenny. We had Gabe Davis. We had Travis Kelce. If you guys had Travis Kelce on any rosters, you're feeling
Congratulations.
Um, bench warmers, not really worth talking about. See, least efficient manager. We had our guy Dylan Friedman from Team D Friedman 10. Least efficient manager was one Danny Ocean. May have been the
Twas
reason why he
me.
May have been the reason why you lost. Lowest points in a win, Kyle, who's not here, but he won by 2 versus Bam, 121 to 119. Highest points in a loss, 168 to Team D Friedman 10, who was also the most efficient manager. So he was the overachiever of the week, the most efficient manager of the week, and he also had the highest points in a loss. So in fantasy, you can do all you can and still lose. Danny, who did you play last week? You played.
I played Greg.
Greg, our mutual league mate Greg, who is now on a 3-game win streak. Who's now 3-2. He's also in my division, so my division's got some dogs in it. In my division, another 3-2 team was Gator J. He was actually 3-1 going into last week, looking to take firm command of the division. Gator J lost this week, 176.9 to 144.4. Sorry, I had to do it to you, Gator J.
He not sorry. Don't let him lie to you.
It just be like that sometimes. So now, Danny, in our redraft league, I'm 5-0, and I have a 2-game lead over the second seed, which is Bend It Like Beckham Jr.
Yeah, you're doing really good in the dynasty league. Like you're cruising to that first round bye.
Trying to. All right, and then next week, Danny, I play Rojo Truther, who actually is leading or tied for the lead in the National GM Conference, which is the my opposing division, which is your division.
Which is my division, which I'm in last place.
And you have a big week this week because you play Gator J.
Let's go, Gator.
So it is Danny versus Gator J, and I'm gonna need some shit talk in the fantasy league chat when it's time. We want to go over to our redraft league.
Let's do it.
So in our redraft league, Danny, it is interesting. So for those who don't know, me and Danny are in a 10-team PPR redraft league. Me and Danny are both in the NFC, and at the top of this division, it is a 3-way tie at 3-2 between Danny, myself, and our other league mate Zoe at 3-2. And get this, people. Zoe has beat Danny. Danny has beat me. I have beat Zoe. This division doesn't make any sense. It's not going to make any sense, and it's going to be a shit show probably. Mind you.
No, our division is a lot better than the AFC. And you talked about that in the chat. Like we are head and shoulders better than them this year.
funny because I don't want to say. You notice how
No, say
nobody
it.
wants to no one wants to acknowledge that now. Remember last year when I was just like, "Yo, that trade really shook our division to its core because we
Yeah.
gave them way too many good players." And now look at them.
Three
The
teams in
two
the
previous
NFC have
champions are from that team, are from that division, and they
yep.
are 2-3.
3 teams in the NFC have winning records. Only one team in the AFC has a winning record.
That was the best team probably in the league.
Yeah, he has the best team in the league by a mile. But still,
But he has no depth. I'm telling you. This guy,
no, he does
for
not.
example, people, and this is the last thing we're going to talk about from this dynasty league. I mean, this redraft league. This team, who is the best team in the league, he has Josh Allen, Austin Eckler, Tyreek Hill, James Robinson, Michael Pittman, Mark Andrews, Devonta Smith. He also has Amon-Ra St. Brown and Damian Pierce. He has Njoku, Antonio Gibson. Um, so I say all that to say, you obviously see he has some heavy hitters up top, but he has no depth. And I'm just saying, once we get into the bye weeks, his team's going to be in some question. And I like how no one's trading with him yet. Wait till the bye weeks start, and he's going to have to start sending some people. And I think that's where we're going to see some. He's got to balance out. He's not going to outscore everyone by
Yeah,
this
that he's
flat.
the highest score in the league by a mile, but that's going to come down.
So
We're going to catch up to him.
So I was looking at this, and this might be the last thing we can say about this. So you know how I make the commissioners' notes every week.
Yep.
Um, so I want to see if I can show you the scoring. So I'm going to share my screen. Maybe can you see it?
Yep. Hold on.
Screen.
There it is.
All right. See this?
Let me make my screen big.
Show this. Look at this. Average points per game. So this is right here. This is the winning team, the best team in the league, averaging 152 points per game. Look at this right here. 124, 124, 121, 118, 117, 116. You see what the numbers are telling me? This guy right here is only a matter of time before he comes back down to earth.
Yep.
Only a matter of time before he comes back down to earth. You're not going to keep outscoring the league by 30 points.
I think he's trying to build a cushion. Like, I think we're getting to the point now. We'll kind of see who's in the race for. Because for those who don't know, the loser of this league either has to leave the league or pay half the dues for the winner. So I'm just trying to avoid paying half of someone's dues next year. But it's NFC. I'm not worried about that. Like, we're really, really strong division.
We are. And I'm gonna probably wait until like week 6 or 7 or 8 before I kind of want to start in my notes, started including a playoff tracker, so we can start talking about playoff seeding, and then in that I'm gonna do the race for last place, which my man Tad is firm lead on. Shout out to Kyle, who's back in here. I want to give him his notice, Kyle. I did call out. You were able to get your first win in the Dynasty League, so there are no more winless teams. And we can also I can also go back to the win that I had over Gator J last week. Now putting me at 5-0, and I'm looking like a pretty formidable team in our Dynasty League. I'm looking like a pretty formidable team. I'm trying to find my way to this number 1 overall seed and go from there. Gator J, Kyle, Bam, Danny. One thing I did want to discuss probably immediately after our Super Bowl in our league is how we want to approach supplemental draft and that going forward. Because as a commissioner of a Dynasty League, I'm maybe not too familiar. So would love a little insight from the league there. We can discuss that at a later time.
Same.
Danny. Anything else, man? I think we covered a lot. This is a jam-packed show.
We did. I will say, for those of us watching or on the audio adventure, again, Our Gmail box is open to answer any and all questions that you may have about sports, life, dating, whatever you have. We probably have an answer for. So shoot us an email at speakonthepod14@gmail.com. Again, that's speakonthepod14@gmail.com. Please leave your name, or unless you want to remain anonymous, in your question, and we will answer that question on next week's
Yeah, we
show.
got a good one. We had a good one in last week.
Yeah, we
So we'll
did.
make sure we check the inbox for episode. What is this?
77 would be next
Yeah,
week.
so episode 77. We'll look to answer another one. I really enjoyed that one on episode 75 regarding greatness and appreciating it while we can. If you guys are hearing this, make sure you're following us, the pod on social media. That is Speak On It _pod. Really appreciate you guys who are always showing up in the live stream, showing love here. If you're listening to the audio, as always, we appreciate. Make sure you holler at us on social media. We love chatting about our takes. So if you got any thoughts about our takes, good or bad, holler at us. We'll be listening and looking. Yo, Danny, let the people know where to find you, man.
Find me on the Bird app, Danny at Ocean41. As D said, find us on Twitter and Instagram, Speak On It _pod. Speak On It _pod. D, what are we rolling out to, and where can the people find you, and what are we rolling out to tonight?
People, you already know you can find me at Los D Mix. That is LOSDEEMIX. Don't get it mistaken. We're going to get out of here to a record. This is from that Quavo and Takeoff album. It's called the album is Only Built for Infinity Links. The song is Bars in the Captions. You're gonna like this one. I think you're gonna like this one.
Okay.
Listen how now,
not the Outcast sample.
nah, come on, they kind of bodied it though. Come on.
Peace.